What's up, 12s? This is Victor, and you're locked into Seahawks Nation Update, the home of your defending Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. And I'm telling you right now, if you thought the offseason was going to be quiet after hoisting the Lombardi, think again. Because the biggest question in Seattle right now might not be quarterback. It might not be wide receiver. It might be the secondary. And if the front office doesn't get this right, that championship defense we just celebrated could look very different in 2026. Let's break this down. Rick Woolen and Josh Jobe are both headed toward free agency. There's a real chance Woolen tests the market. Jobe just had a huge Super Bowl performance. 7 total tackles, only 20 yards allowed on 4 receptions, and a ridiculous 44. 9 passer rating allowed. But even if Jobe comes back, are we really comfortable standing pat at corner? That's where this gets interesting. There's a Super Bowl winning corner from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers who just quietly had the best season of his career. I'm talking about a defender who allowed a 46, 9 passer rating when targeted in 2025, the lowest among NFL cornerbacks. Opposing quarterbacks completed just 5% of their passes against him. He picked off 3 passes this year, as many as he had in the previous 3 seasons combined. That's elite-level coverage. Pro Football Focus has him listed among the highest-graded defensive free agents, and some analysts are already calling Seattle the best landing spot. The projected price tag? Around $12–15 million per year. Is that steep? Yes. But we've got over $70 million in cap space, 6th most in the league. And if Mike McDonald wants a reliable veteran to stabilize the outside opposite Devin Witherspoon, this might be the cleanest solution in free agency. Now here's where things get even more aggressive. There's also a proposed trade scenario that would send a former All-Pro 8-time Pro Bowler corner from the Pittsburgh Steelers to Seattle for as little as a 2026 5th-round pick. Yes, you heard that right. This is a 10-year veteran, 88 tackles last season, 8 pass breakups, a Pro Bowl nod in 2025, and a guy who's been traded 3 times already in his career, never even hitting free agency. There are risks. He turns 32 in October. He carries a $23 million cap hit in 2026, and he hasn't been true All-Pro caliber since his days with the Los Angeles Rams. But think about the versatility. He even shifted to safety late last season in Pittsburgh. That flexibility in dime packages, that veteran leadership in a young secondary, that's championship depth. So now the question becomes, do you pay premium money for a 29-year-old lockdown cover corner entering his prime? Or do you gamble on a future Hall of Fame level veteran at a discounted trade cost? Or do you trust the draft and roll with Jobe opposite Witherspoon? This is what defending a title looks like. It's not about celebrating. It's about reinforcing weaknesses before they get exposed. So I need to hear from you, 12s. Which move would you make? Free agent lockdown corner? Trade for the veteran star? Or trust the young guys and keep the cap flexibility? If you're a real Seahawks fan, if you're locked in for this title defense, smash that like button right now. And subscribe to Seahawks Nation Update because we're pushing hard toward 2,000 subscribers, and only true 12s are helping us get there. Stay with me because we're about to break down the cap math, the scheme fit under McDonald, and which move gives Seattle the best chance to repeat. Let me start with this. You don't defend a Super Bowl by standing still. You defend it by fixing weaknesses before they become problems. And now, we're talking about a move that could quietly be one of the most important decisions of the entire offseason. We're talking about the possibility of the Seattle Seahawks signing a veteran corner in free agency. And the name being linked to us is Jamal Dean from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The cornerback situation in Seattle. Let's be honest, cornerback might quietly be our biggest offseason question mark. Both Rick Woolen and Josh Jobe are heading toward free agency. Maybe we bring Jobe back on a team-friendly deal. But Woolen, he could absolutely hit the open market and command serious money. So if Seattle suddenly has a hole opposite Devin Witherspoon, you better believe John Schneider and Mike McDonald are preparing for that possibility. You don't wait until April to panic. You prepare in February. Why Jamal Dean makes sense. Now let's talk numbers, because this isn't hype. In 2025, when quarterbacks targeted Jamal Dean, they had a passer rating of just 46.9. Let that sink in. 46.9. That was the lowest passer rating allowed among NFL cornerbacks. He also allowed just a 5% completion rate, which ranked 3rd in the league. That is lockdown production. And he did it in 14 games, finishing the year with 3 interceptions, the same number he had in the previous 3 seasons combined. That's a bounce-back season. That's a player cashing in at the perfect time, the Tampa Bay collapse. And here's where it gets interesting. The Buccaneers started 5-1 last season. Then Dean missed weeks 11 and 12 with a hip flexor injury, and the regular season finale with a shoulder issue. Tampa Bay went 2-9 down the stretch and missed the playoffs for the first time since 2019. Now, I'm not saying Dean single-handedly saves that team, but when your best cover corner is out and your defense collapses, that tells you something. He was their one reliable veteran in the secondary, and now they might lose him. The money question. Here's the reality. SpotRack projects his market value around 3 years, 37, $4 million to roughly $12, $5 million per year. But let's be real. If teams get desperate for corners, that number could climb closer to $15 million per year. Now, do the Seahawks have the cap space? Yes. Seattle is in one of the healthiest cap situations in the NFL right now. But here's the deeper question. Is this where you want to invest premium dollars? The fit in Seattle. Imagine the secondary. Devin Witherspoon on one side, Jamal Dean on the other. A 6'1", 206-pound physical press corner who just posted the best passer rating allowed in football. Under Mike McDonald's system, which thrives on disguise, tight coverage, and forcing quarterbacks into mistakes, Dean's discipline and length would fit beautifully. This isn't a flashy signing. It's a "we're not letting our championship defense regress" signing. And that's how dynasties stay alive. The risk. But let's not ignore the concerns. Dean did miss 3 games late in the season. He's 29 years old. And paying top-of-market money for corners can get dangerous fast. Also, he already has a Super Bowl ring from early in his career. He's not chasing a championship. He's chasing his biggest payday. And sometimes that means he simply goes to the highest bidder. So the question becomes, does Seattle want to get into a bidding war? Or do they trust the draft and cheaper depth options? My take as a fan. If Woolen walks, I'd seriously consider this, because elite cornerback play wins playoff games. Look at what we just did during our Super Bowl run. We suffocated receivers when it mattered most. You can never have too many reliable cover guys in today's NFL. And Dean's 46. 9 passer rating allowed tells me this isn't hype, it's production. Now I want to hear from you 12s. Would you pay $12–15 million per year for Jamal Dean to lock down the secondary? Or would you rather go younger and cheaper? Drop your takes in the comments. Let me ask you something. What if the Seahawks could land an 8-time Pro Bowler for just a 5th-round pick? Yeah, you heard me right. There's a proposed trade out there that would send Jaylen Ramsey from the Pittsburgh Steelers to the Seattle Seahawks for a 2026 5th-rounder. Is this a genius low-risk move? Or are we talking about paying for a name instead of production? Before we break it all down, if you're a real 12 who believes we're building something special in Seattle, smash that like button and subscribe right now. We're pushing for 2,000 subscribers, and only true Seahawks fans are helping us get there. Why cornerback is suddenly a big question? Let's be honest. Cornerback is the biggest question mark on this roster heading into the new league year. Rick Woolen is expected to test free agency. Josh Jobe is also set to hit the market. Even depth pieces like Kobe Bryant and Ty Okada could be gone. Now, Jobe absolutely balled out in Super Bowl LX. 7 total tackles, only 4 catches allowed on 11 targets, just 20 yards given up, and an allowed passer rating of 44.9. That's lockdown football on the biggest stage. He could absolutely be our full-time CB2 opposite Devin Witherspoon, and likely at a cheaper price than Woolen. But even if Jobe returns, you still need depth. You still need versatility. You still need leadership in the secondary. And that's where Ramsey enters the conversation. What Ramsey still brings. Let's be clear, this is not 2019 All-Pro Ramsey. He hasn't been All-Pro since 2021 with the Los Angeles Rams. But last season in Pittsburgh, he still made the Pro Bowl, the 8th of his career. In 17 games, he posted 88 total tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 8 pass breakups, 1 interception. And here's the key detail. The Steelers even moved him to safety late in the year. That tells you something important. He's versatile. In today's NFL, a defensive back who can play outside corner, slot, and safety packages is extremely valuable. The risk now. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Ramsey turns 32 in October. His 2026 cap hit? About $17, $23 million. That's not small. And yes, he's been traded 3 times since 2019. He's played for 4 different teams and has never even hit free agency. So you have to ask, are we getting a still impactful veteran, or are we inheriting an expensive, declining player? why Pittsburgh might move on the Steelers could flip him for a day 3 pick, and get younger immediately. Clear cap space from one of the most expensive defenses in football reset their secondary timeline, and if they're trading him, it makes sense to send him out of the AFC. They don't play Seattle next year, so from their perspective, it's clean. Why this could make sense for Seattle. Here's where I get intrigued. For a 5th-round pick, that's low risk. That's the kind of move contenders make to stack experience depth. Even if he's no longer elite, Ramsey still brings championship experience, playmaking instincts, physicality, leadership in big moments. Under Mike McDonald's defensive system, a hybrid DB who can rotate between safety and corner could be deadly in dime packages. Imagine late-game situations, Witherspoon locking down one side, Job on the other, Ramsey rotating inside or deep depending on matchup. That's flexibility, that's disguise, that's playoff football. We just won the Super Bowl. But repeating is harder than winning the first one. You don't assume young players will just step up. You add insurance. You add experience. Now, would I give up major draft capital? No. But a 5th-round pick? That's the definition of calculated risk. If it works, you get a veteran Pro Bowler. If it doesn't, you didn't mortgage the future. If Woolen walks, if Job is your CB2, and if the price truly is a 5th-round pick, I'd seriously consider it. Not because it's flashy, but because championship defenses are built on depth and versatility, and Ramsey still offers both. Now I want to hear from you 12s. Would you trade a 2026 5th-round pick for Jaylen Ramsey? Or do you think we should stay young and build through the draft? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you believe the Seahawks are making moves to defend that Super Bowl title, hit that like button and subscribe so we can smash that 2,000 subscriber goal together. This is Victor, and if this move happens, the rest of the NFC better start adjusting. Go Hawks!